Okay, so I'm back. Kind of set up. This is the UN in Geneva. And this is my sign. I had something else set up, but they had me take it down. So it says, "Shame on the UN, 1947, remember 1947. No peace since 1947, United Nations, shame on you." So today is the United Nations International Day of Peace, or living together in peace. And because of what they did in 1947, we still don't have peace today. That's when they decided without approval to give Palestinian land to Israel, or to make it Israel, to give it its own name. And I'm here reminding everybody that we don't have peace because of this wonderful peace organization that has done anything but create peace. It's very sad. It's very sad. So I'm supposed to be having a summoning of peace right now. So I'm going to switch the video around. And this is Maud in Art, but it's also Susan Buchser. Susan Maud Buchser, the candidate, and Susan Maud Buchser, the citizen. I am all of the above. And it's a beautiful day here in Geneva, but sadly, we are not at peace. And right across the street from me is the home of the Red Cross Museum, at least, and I guess the Red Cross organization. And so I started there, but police came by and told me that I had to leave. They didn't want my protest there. So anyways, now I'm here on the UN area, or at least on the Geneva area, and getting ready to have my little event. But I have to admit I'm not set up because they had me change from one side to another. So I'm going to be, I guess, moving, and maybe I just do that. I just sort of move about because I don't really, well, I guess I can do it like this. I suppose you can hear that, right? So I'll put you down here with the trees. And I have one of my summoning things where we'll summon from the leaves of one of my favorite flowers. And then I have some readings to do. So let me do those. Where did that flower go? In here, it's on my phone. Yeah. Good. It's not the prettiest one, but it'll have to do for now. Okay, well, here we go. Oh, there. So, I'd have all kinds of solutions for my issues. Right now, just like so. How you guys doing down there? Alright, here we go. We learn lessons and we keep on going, knowing there's a better world out there. Look all around you. There is beauty everywhere. Each president sadly voices unheard. Silent by greed and power. The constant war hate machine must be solved. It's enough, this is what we say. We're here on this earth to make the world better. It's time for peace. There's no regret. Babies are born into a family, our community, our religion too. Fan city, life celebration of all time. And no matter who we are, where we live, for our I believe From rivers to the oceans, from the flowers to the trees, we are one. Smile for peace. Now, it is the UN's it's the UN's International Day of Living Together in Peace. And we are not in peace, are we? No. So this is a problem because the organization that supposedly came up with human rights and all of this then turned around like 2 years later and stole land from the Palestinians. Put a label on it, called it Israel, and that's when the disenfranchisement, where human rights were extremely violated then, and they went against their own proposals. It's shocking that now they have this day where they want to live together in peace, or at least they claim to, but they're doing the opposite. And it's not only the UN, there are other people involved. I mean, our own president, Truman, he's the one who agreed with it and signed it. And gave basically Europeans all this extra Mediterranean land, is what they did. So let me see, I have some things I want to read. But I guess really the truth is that, I'm only one. But still, I am one. And I am, doing this. So this is the notice. I don't know if you can see that. And I don't know if you'll see it right or left or whatever. Oh. And of course, I was in an automobile accident recently, so I'm still having troubles moving. But anyway, so this is the official Summoning Peace summoning at the United Nations, Geneva, by me, Maud and Art. And I'm also here as Citizen Susan and as presidential candidate Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki. So the UN is really not bringing peace. So as let me get to okay, I guess it's here. What to expect. It's time to hold the United Nations accountable for the things they are doing. Again, it was created simply to create Israel for Germany. And it's a shame. Humankind deserves better. So, here I am at the UN on this Peace Day. They've made all sorts of international days, and this one is supposed to be living together in peace. The UN has many problems, and they're not fulfilling their promise. The US and many other countries are giving lots of money to them too, which needs to be stopped because it's just basically giving a lot of people this air of superiority when they don't really have it, and they're not superior. They're not really doing their job, and basically it's just a lie. They don't really care. They don't have ever an intention of bringing really peace and bringing caring. So why should we care about the UN? It's just another way of people in power putting other friends in power and giving them this false pretense of importance. giving them a salary so they can hang out together and go to places like Israel along the Mediterranean and have a party. I'm sure there's a party going on somewhere today about peace, but like I said, they have no intention of really bringing it. It's narcissism at its finest. You know, they used to have peacocks roaming around here, just to let you know. I don't know if they still do. Maybe. But we have anything but peace. We got many wars going on, and then we have also the war against women going on, which, you know, is unacceptable. It's time for women to be appreciated for our important work. The world has changed, and women and our importance needs to change too. It's time to pay women for their important work of being mothers and caregivers. We pay men for many things that they do that are special to men, but we don't pay women, and this is a shame. One thing I did learn at the Geneva UN about 10 years ago was the worst thing that a woman could do in her life was to become a mother, because it would send her directly into poverty if she was alone. And this happens all over the world, not just in the US. And this is how we treat our most valued people. It's a shame. But the UN needs to listen to their own words and start living up to their promises. I'm pro-peace, but stealing land from another country to give it to Europeans for a vacation spot in the Mediterranean is not acceptable. It's not peace, and the UN knows it. It's time to come up with a real peace plan and start really living in peace together. Just to let you know, you're live on Facebook. But did you have a question?
No, I'm going to WHO. WHO, where is WHO? WHO office.
WHO? I don't know. Sorry.
They say on Facebook.
I think it might be this direction, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Do you have your mobile phone? You could Google it.
I don't have. They gave me this map.
Okay. So where are we? We're here, right?
Where the Earth organization is here.
Where's the nation? Yeah, we're here. So, okay, so then you want to go probably down here and then take this way up if that's where you're going.
Okay, that one. I take that one.
I think so. That street, yeah, take that up.
Okay.
I know it's around here because I was driving around and I saw it a couple of times.
Thank you.
So I'm an artist collecting smiles for peace. Are you pro-peace?
Yes.
Would you like to give your smile for peace? Can I just photograph the smile and then I use it in artwork in 2- and 3-dimensional works.
I'm happy that
Can I take your smile?
It's a smile picture.
Yeah, can I photograph just your smile?
Okay.
And you can smile how you like.
Yeah.
I'm going to come in a little close so it'll feel funny because I just want your mouth. And I'm going to take it to you. Okay. Here, I'll even show it to you. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So
that's
I
good.
will use that in
You have can I follow up with this to see where it is?
Yeah, well, so the easiest way is my website, susan4usa.com.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
So you can find me there. Thank you. Have a good day. All right. Yeah, I suppose I should take a few pictures too. So here I am for right now. I will be moving, and luckily it's windy, so my wonderful flag gets going. I think I need to straighten it a little bit. more to read, I think. I mean, the U.S. is giving something like 22% of the funds that the UN gets every year. And again, you know, we got people in poverty in the U.S. What are we doing? This place is not working for peace, really. We got wars going on. They just talk about it. They don't do anything. And so we really need to change our focus, USA. First off, actually, you need to count all the votes in the election. You know that. Shame on you for not counting votes. And it's amazing how, you know, when Donald Trump was not president in the last election, we kept hearing about how much how much fraud there was. But now, suddenly, there's no fraud because we don't hear about it anymore. So, let's see. I am looking for presidential candidate protest of the United Nations mismanagement of the nations of the world. Yeah, I mean, really, it was just 2 years. How could such a fledgling organization get so much power in such a short period of time? I don't understand it. I wasn't alive during that time. None of us were, but we have to live with the repercussions of it. So, you know, having older people in office is not the best thing. We got people who don't really know what they're doing, and they're getting us into trouble. And just to let you know, as a presidential candidate, I have a town hall campaign update every week on Sunday at 3:30 in the afternoon, Washington, D.C. time. And there I'll be talking about my to-do list, world events, and other things. So you can join me if you have questions. Feel free to join me. But the whole reason the UN was created at this point, really, I believe, at the time, because we had the League of Nations. It closed down because it wasn't working because World War II broke out. But and the UN actually uses some of the land and the building of the League of Nations. But for some reason they felt they needed a new name and new people, and then they created Israel. So this day is supposed to invite countries and to the future promote reconciliation to help ensure peace and sustainable development, which includes working with communities, faith leaders. I think we need to leave the faith leaders out. And other relevant measures through reconciliation measures and acts of service by encountering forgiveness and compassion. Yeah, they want us to forgive all the non-humanitarian things that they're doing. That's what, you know, a narcissist always wants. And I say integrity matters. So, united in differences and diversity, living together in peace is all about accepting differences. Well, you know, one of the other things that it is to accept things as they are and let people be themselves. Now, just because the Europeans don't understand that other people want to live in a different way, that doesn't mean that it's wrong. And Europe has to learn that there's more than one way of living. And in fact, I'm going to use this time to say, you know, the way the Ethiopians eat is really clever. They end up with no waste at the end. They eat everything. They eat even like the plate, more or less. I mean, they're left with a plate, but you put down this bread called inira, and then it's got like stews on top of it, and then you eat with your hands with basically your napkin, which is also edible. It's also from that same bread. And you just eat everything, all the sauces, until you clean the plate. And it's great. There's no dirty dishes except for the one. So when you go to a European restaurant, you get tablecloths that need cleaned, and then you got like different plates for different courses, and there's usually like 4 to 6 different pieces of silverware, and then I don't know how many glasses. And you know what? All that needs cleaned, right? And so you're putting chemicals into the water. When if you just use one dish, and if you eat with your hands, there's no utensils that need cleaned, and therefore it's really easy. There's no cleanup. But who am I to tell the Europeans how to eat, or what would be clever? No, they're more into we created a fork, or we created a knife. It's ours. We created it. Instead of just using common sense. And, Europeans are the biggest ones to complain about water problems. But, if you would share your water and stop dirtying it with eating on multiple dishes at restaurants all over the country, all over Europe, then we might have clean water for everybody. But anyways, living together in peace is about accepting differences and having the ability to listen, recognize, respect, and appreciate others, as well as living in a peaceful and united way. So, I just don't see it happening. Not from the beginning, and not now. And it's a shame. So, the U.S. is putting 22% of the budget for the UN. It comes from we are the biggest donors. And the UN budget for 24 was $3.5 billion. So 22% of that came from the U.S. How can we be giving out so much money to organizations that don't work for no apparent reason? They're not doing anything. Except, fact-finding is pretty much all that they can really do. They don't have any way of officially forcing or causing countries to do anything. And so $3.5 billion, 22% of that comes from the United States. And we have how much debt in our own country that we need to pay off? So, folks, we're doing something wrong here. This is not acceptable. And it's apparently a voluntary contribution, so Trump, since you're in power right now, just know it's financed from voluntary contributions. So we don't have to give so much. We can even get them all out of New York, too. We don't need to fund people, give them an apartment in New York and spending money. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that here in Europe either, in Switzerland. We can also work on our own people, taking care of them. Just imagine how much money we would save. The UN is broken anyways. It's not fulfilling its promise of peace. We have war. And in fact, they're the ones who instigated most of the problems that we now have to live with. Shame on the UN. Shame on Truman. Yeah. So, let's see. It's time. They want peace. They don't want peace. 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 They don't want peace. They want peace. They don't want peace. They want peace. They don't want peace. The UN wants peace. They don't want peace. The UN says they want peace. The UN shows they don't want peace. The UN has no power for 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 peace. They want peace. They don't want peace. They want peace.
Allez, venons, on va faire une photo avec lui. Il y a cette sécurité. On est là, on tourne en rond.
Okay. They want peace. They don't want peace. They want peace. They can't bring peace. They're not powerful enough. They don't want peace. They want peace. They want peace. And they want peace. They don't want peace. They're not powerful enough for peace. They have empty promises. They look good. They're narcissists. They can't do what they promise. They can do what they promise. They can't do what they promise. They're just a figurehead. They're just a peacock. They look good. They look dressed up, but they can't do a thing. They don't have power. They don't bring peace. They don't care about peace. They just want a job. They just want to look good. They're not working. It's not working. The UN is not working. It doesn't fulfill its promise. In fact, they are the ones who cause most of the wars. Their acts of bringing peace are more harmful than good. Shame on the UN. 1947. Look at the maps of Palestine. The UN stole the land. The US stole the land. And they gave it to the Germans. Shame on them. I wasn't even alive. But I have to pay for this with my own peace. 22% of US money, of the budget of the UN, comes from the US. We are the biggest donors. What about the richest country in the world, Liechtenstein? How much do they give? They live closer. How much does Switzerland give? They don't want peace. They just want to look good. They don't want peace. They just want to look good. I'm tired of the lies I was fed as a child. Are you tired of the lies you were fed as a child? They just want to look good. They don't want peace. If we ever had real peace, they'd have no work. They don't want peace. They just want to feed us lies. They just want to pretend like they're good. It's called narcissism. Anyone who challenges them has to be silenced. That's what they're doing in Palestine. Shame on the UN. They don't want peace. They want peace. 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 They want peace. They don't 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 want peace. Okay. And that's apparently how it ends. They don't want peace. But I want peace. I want peace between nations and peace between people. And so far, we don't have any of it. And what I've discovered mostly is religion seems to play a role. Religion and power. Greed. It ultimately comes down to greed. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Okay, so there we go. That is the end of the summoning. We are more or less done. Nature take its course. Okay, so one last time. Let the flag fly. It's a bit windy day. This is a good solution. What have you done? What have you done? Oh, I guess we're upside down now. Why not? It's an upside down world. There we go. All right. So, thank you for stopping by. It was a good summoning. I don't know how much the UN wants as far as peace goes, but let's see what tomorrow brings. Okay, so I wish you a good day wherever you are. This is Maud in Art, and you can find out more about me here on Facebook. Is where I'm mostly, but also I have a website that I'm sharing right now called Susan4USA.com. That's Susan the number 4USA.com. You can have a look and see what all is there. If you go to Susan4USA Facebook page, then you'll get eventually to my Facebook page too. Okay, thank you. I wish you a good day wherever you are. Peace be with you.